We can call this an open letter to YouTube, Google, Alphabet, etc., whoever needs to see it, and everybody investing in these companies, entities, and working there. I'm Waptec. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. Before that, I would set up a page or two on my website that I have for free on X10 Hosting or wherever, and put up information because I would go on the internet, have a hard time finding information, put up a condensed version of it as basically a note to self, notes to myself. That's what I call most of my data. These originally started off as emails to myself so I could have a way to look up information. And then I got tired of that and decided to organize it as a website. Then I decided to take those web pages that I made with information that still did not have an easy answer and post those answers to places like Yahoo Answers or whatever. And because I ran into gatekeeping behavior and others who made money somehow by not having the information available, and it could be on anything from how to fix a guitar amp to whether or not this laptop can take a alternative power supply. Putting it up on the web page that I had control over or onto forums I had no control over where they would erase them because someone somewhere made money. Started putting them on YouTube. All of the videos I do are because someone either asked a question or I needed to find an answer and I had a hard time finding it, and I figure posting the information would be useful. I get thank yous almost 90 times as often as I get insulted on this channel and on previous channels. The only exception is when I proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that people on the internet were lying about the end of the world happening any day now in 2012. I don't know if you understand this, but the fact that the world did not come to an end and nothing unusual happened means they were lying. They weren't making a mistake. And that made people, up to and including today's date, who hate me. They don't even remember why. It's because I cut into them making money off of YouTube or off of Facebook, directing people to buy books or pay them on Patreon or whatever. Scammers. On YouTube and Google, including Google Answers, I found exactly the same thing going on. But on YouTube, the company that ran it, Google, and whatever they call themselves this week, were not able to keep people from finding my information, and it was absolutely disastrously hard to erase it. I had almost as much power as I do over my web page, which put everything as text, pictures, and occasionally in a multimedia file like a video or audio. Originally, I only did YouTube to embed a video because I needed to do something that I couldn't type up, so I did a video. And now we're talking about today's date, at the 3-minute mark. Google and YouTube have gone way beyond and above the requirement to make it to where we can safely say they're willing to make your user experience as miserable as possible if you don't let them show you ads or if you just use a browser that's too old by literally 2 weeks. Eventually, the website will be unable to let me load up anything unless I'm running the latest version of Windows or the latest version of Mac OS, and they don't give a shit because most of this is cell phone driven. Doesn't matter that my computer can very easily emulate a cell phone and get in. The point is they're being aggressively anti-user. The Any Browser campaign, if you don't know about it, or best viewed with any browser, not just one, was a reaction to the world deliberately becoming a monopolistic mess by saying you had to use Internet Explorer, you had to use Firefox, or you had to use Netscape to view the page. The standards became such that every web browser complied with not another web browser. This browser war ended because people stopped being part of it. And in case you haven't noticed, virtually every website now says you have to use a certain browser. Recently, a lot of you noticed that it isn't Google Chrome, but the piece of software that is used to browse Steam so you can play your video games, which is essentially just a web browser. It is just that. Based on the Chromium or Chrome subsystem, has become more proprietary to where, originally it would require whatever program they made, but now it's made to where you have to run Windows 10. And I did a video recently on how to get around that by loading up a really old version that's 32-bit based, so you can load up the 64-bit version that'll run on Windows 7. As I've said in previous video, there's no technical reason for these restrictions. This isn't even the browser companies bribing them, although I will point out that, yes, the companies that write the browsers, like Microsoft Corporation and Google, are now doing overtly illegal anti-consumer shit in the background that make them a monopoly by action. This is one of the quotes of many that got Microsoft Corporation in trouble at one point. And just like every other large corporation, nothing really happened. The European Union has been more instrumental in this than anything else, and immediately you'll see reactionaries, we call them Republicans, and some Democrats, by the way, I should point out, that scream that having the European Union require that everything work, no matter what browser you use, and make it to where corporations that don't obey that basic idea that you should be able to use the internet at all, people reacting to them doing this bare bones thing that they've been doing for a long time because that's the standard on the internet, making it a law, is seen as communism or some other bullshit you want to throw out. Nazism. Someone will throw a word out. And then you find out later that every one of those fuckers got paid off by some large corporation like Google or Apple. All of them are monopolies unless you beat them into submission. And now we get back to YouTube. YouTube fired the first shot. You made your advertisements intrusive. You made at one point, your advertisements require more of the computer than the videos and made it to where it would crash our browsers. You then started making sure that we couldn't use older browsers because the older browsers wouldn't play the ads. That's not anything we did wrong. We were just browsing with whatever we had available on our computer. You took offense to that. I was offended, you say. I took offense at that and decided to attack people, including crashing their browsers on purpose, locking them out of their account, sometimes holding their shit hostage, and then getting very quickly smacked on the nose like a dog that took a crap in the corner because you did something that is overtly anti-user. And now we're at this status where you're interrupting the audio, pausing the video, changing the resolution to one that can't load. Why were you trying to run 4,000 by 80? Not 800. 4,000 pixel by 80. You told my computer to try to render a video in a way that can't render. And it's embedded in the stream data. You literally came up with a format that won't play on any browser to try to crash the browser. Your company has done literally everything to become the evil. Even Microsoft is less evil slightly. Apple is slightly less evil, even though all of them are evil. No, this isn't Waptec being a socialist or a Nazi or whatever. This is Waptec saying you played yourself. You're literally making your website not work for anybody some days because you're trying to attack, and this is the statistic, 5% of the viewers who just want to make it to where the damn browser doesn't crash because your ads crash our browsers, because it interrupts our video resolution. The video might be in only 480p or 720p, but the commercial you put up is something in the middle, and it interrupts the video load up, and it changes the resolution to something they can't render, and it screws us up. And then you immediately scream, upgrade to Internet Explorer whatever, or Firefox whatever, and upgrade to Windows 10 because fuck you is the attitude we get out of corporations now. Period. This is now the standard behavior on the internet. And the last time this happened, it was one big company instead of 5 of them. Everyone knew to hate Internet Explorer and Microsoft Corporation. Everybody rallied together. You're making it to where we can't use your website because you're trying to punish a tiny minority of us that can't load the page because we can't upgrade to Windows whatever. I'm running Windows 7 and it's a hybrid to get it to work with everything you have. And when I tell your website and lie to it that I'm running Windows 10, everything runs fine, but you still shove ads in my face and then crash it anyway. The last company that did this on this scale was hauled in by the Department of Justice under violations of every kind. Your company has been guilty of doing things that endangered children, that violated our privacy, sold our data, and every once in a while you kowtow to a company, I didn't mean company, a country like China that says we have to be censored, when we're in different countries. The European Union had to drag you kicking and screaming to not being complete assholes several times. We have individual politicians in this country forbidding us from having the right to repair, and thousands of hardware hackers, including me once in a while, that tell you how to get around it by how to change the batteries in your computer and make it to where you never have to go through this again by putting a door on it. So you can just open the door and take the battery out and replace it, which is considered somehow something that the U.S. Department of... Literally, you've got the people who monitor whether or not cocaine goes in and out of the country fighting people changing out the batteries on your Apple product because Apple convinced them that it's contraband. Buying a battery with intent to install, and you literally use Border Patrol and whoever else. This is the state of our country. For right to repair, for right to upload, to be able to use our old computers until they physically don't work anymore, instead of consumerism where it's supposed to be thrown in the garbage or recycling every 5 years because the CEO of Google needs you to buy a new phone every few years or he doesn't make any money. Oh, poor billionaires. And the reason I'm bringing them up as if they're the same thing is these fuckers buy off our politicians. Why is this rant being posted? In the past, if a large corporation or a group of individuals or an individual website tried to crash your browser, they were called hackers, in the negative sense, and immediately fought against by every virus scanner and everybody else. Again, this company fired the first shot because they were trying to get rid of people who had older browsers that just happened to be too stupid to run their stupid ads. So they attacked them instead of just saying, you have to update your browser, it won't play anymore. And only show us ads. And time again, people like me have told you, just put up a static ad in the upper right-hand corner that just shows what you're advertising on behalf of the video and the YouTube channel that we're watching. Or just put it up just on behalf of YouTube to pay your bills and stop interfering with us being able to use our mouse, being able to right-click, being able to hit play, being able to control the volume. Now you've started muting audio, setting our resolution so it'll play smoothly because we don't need high res if the fucking thing doesn't load. The amount of aggravating shit your company does when people are paying for YouTube Premium has been documented heavily. People who allow ads still get attacked. People who don't allow ads, arguably every single time, are better off. You've made it no possibility of using your website. It's like going to Pinterest. You can't load Pinterest without loading a bunch of tools and hacks to turn off all their bullshit because they're so angsty. So, many of you have been to a web page where if you just move the mouse anywhere near the address bar, it assumes you're leaving and puts up a giant flash ad that shoves in your face and says, don't go. And there's nothing you can do about it, except on me turning those off every time I see them until they don't show up anymore. Your company has started a fight, has started a war, and now your investors are stuck with the following decision. Compel your company to stop being aggravating because they're going to end up in court, here or abroad. Or B, take your money elsewhere because you're not making any money off of YouTube at all. That's what they say. And it's not because of us people blocking pop-ups and shit that crashed the browser. It's just that it's a loss leader. They could make a lot more money if they stop these attacks, put the ads in the upper right-hand corner. They could use an animated GIF. We don't care, even a video. Just silence it and let us watch the videos, and we might pause it and look at the ad. Here's another idea. Have Madison Avenue do better ads. I don't want to see Limu Emu ads on YouTube. They're horrible. It's boring. Where's the beef ads? Were clever, and people didn't change channel when they saw them. Do a better job making ads. Put them out of our way. Stop literally trying to crash our computers. Why is this something that ends up every time having to be in court? Because, and again, I'm going to scream this at every Republican, Large corporations should not be given any form of rights for free speech or control over anything because they always abuse it.